Hey horror fans, welcome back to Room 237, coming at you with another Christmas horror movie review. Yeah, we're getting down to the end of what I had planned for anyway. I wasn't surprising to have this many done this soon. But this is a movie that I actually haven't seen before. Obviously, I've heard of it, just never got around to seeing it, and actually didn't really know it was a Christmas movie. It is another slasher film. That's from 1982, and it is The Dorm That Dripped Blood, aka Pranks, which is actually the version I saw, aka Death Dorm, which was the original title. Now, I don't own this. I watched it on YouTube, and unfortunately, the version I watched was called Pranks. And I believe Pranks is the heavily edited one. Like, I know two of the deaths, the nail baseball bat death, and that one was severely cut, and the drill death was almost completely cut out. We just get the aftermath. So I did not see a very good cut of it, unfortunately. I do know that Synapse has the Blu-ray out that is completely uncut. Would love to get that. Sorry for sniffing again. 'Tis the season. But I would say, all in all, it's a pretty decent slasher flick. It's a very simple story. I mean, you have a group of these college kids who they're staying behind during Christmas break to clear out this one dorm, furniture, whatever, clear it all out because it's going to be demolished and then renovated. But along the way, they're killed off one by one. And of course, you have a red herring, and you know, it is a mystery who the killer is. It does open up with a kill, but then it gets really slow, and then it's mostly just at the end. However, the Christmassy aspect of it is it kind of rides the line of a Christmas horror film. It just happens to take place around Christmas time. It does not have a very strong Christmas aesthetic. Like, there were multiple points watching it. I forgot I was watching a Christmas movie. You don't, not that I saw any like Christmas trees or lights or anything like that. So it was directed by both Stephen Carpenter and Jeffrey Obrow, whose names are not familiar to me. I guess Stephen Carpenter has also written some comedies for Martin Lawrence. Jeffrey Obrow. Bram Stoker's Legend of the Mummy, 1997. What is... Oh. I wonder... It's the same font as Dracula. I wonder if it's anything like Bram Stoker's Dracula. It's not produced by Coppola. But anyway. Actually, the composer of this is Christopher Young, who went on to do Nightmare on Elm Street 2. He did the first two Hellraisers. He would go on to do movies I'm not a fan of, like The Grudge, Sinister 2. Maybe he did the first one. I actually didn't see Sinister 2 because the first one pissed me off. Deliver Us from Evil. But, even older stuff like the two Hellraiser scores are great. And this was his debut of being a film composer. And it's a pretty damn solid score. It has a very hairy Manfredini sort of vibe. Definitely, it's got like the slasher film, violent screech notes, and it's ominous when it needs to be. Really solid score. It stars Laurie Lapinski, Steven Sachs, David Snow, Pamela Holland. And it says here it features actress Daphne Zuniga in her film debut. Which, is she who I thought she was? No. She's not who I was thinking of. She wasn't a bunch of other things, but who I'm thinking of, where is it? Maybe it wasn't even this movie. Yeah, I thought this movie had the woman that was the news person on Batman that got poisoned by the Joker. Maybe that was something else I was looking at. But anyway. Yeah, the version on YouTube was an hour 21 minutes. The full version is 84. It was deemed to be a video nasty, but it was removed from the list. It does have a 0% on Rotten Tomatoes. Same with Toolbox Murders. I think Toolbox Murders is a much better movie than this, but I still liked this. You know, I still enjoyed it. It does have a lot of, you know, Spinner and Sputner in here. I'm kind of tired. I would say it does feel like a 1982 slasher film. The deaths I got to see were, some of them were well done. Some, like, it opens up with a guy in bushes, like someone behind him's like grabbing him, and it looks like a dummy, but then he's like fine, and we see like a knife go through and cut through a hand. That looks fine. The baseball bat with the nails is supposed to have like a few blows, but it's like one or two. The power drill death, you don't get to see anything but blood spray on the wall. And then there's a few more deaths, which I would say, you know, I liked those. They weren't boring or meh. Just because I know there's more to them. I just haven't got to see it yet. The movie does try to trick you into thinking it's this one person, which there were two things that I thought were quite original, especially for the time, but I can't share them without getting into spoilers. And this is one that I've heard a lot of slasher fans, you know, really like. It's one that they all really like, so it is kind of a cult classic in its own way. I don't want to take the ending away from anyone, so I'm going to say spoilers. But, you know, don't go into it thinking you're going to get like a Silent Night, Deadly Night or anything like that as far as Christmas goes. But it's a decent early 80s slasher. I mean, 1982, that was still the golden age. You know, I consider 78 to 84 the golden age of slashers. So, definitely check it out. And also, if you find it on YouTube, if you can find more than one version, if the title says pranks, like under the opening credits, if that's the only way you can watch it, fine. But find one that actually says The Dorm That Dripped Blood with the awesome red on black title card. But anyway, spoilers. So the movie does want you to think it's this one weirdo guy that's been hanging around the dorm. He's kind of creepy. So it has the red herring. But the two things that I thought were quite original was, one, the killer was like the jokey prankster guy. You know, like every slasher film has one. Like the original Friday the 13th, the guy with the football jersey that was dancing around like a Native American, talking like Humphrey Bogart, the one that was dead in the top bunk over Kevin Bacon. If that wasn't Friday the 13th, just a random slasher film, it's like if he was the killer, or Shelley from Friday the 13th Part 3. Imagine if that was a random slasher, but Shelley was the killer. That's the direction this movie went, and I thought it was quite original. Also, the fact that the final girl gets killed. Laurie Lapinski's character dies. And on top of that, the killer gets away, completely scot-free. I was like, wow. You could, especially in like the early 80s, when the formula was still really being, copied and done over and over and over again. To have the final girl have that aspect be the one that's changed, that's pretty original. It must have been ballsy back then to be like, hey, we're going to kill off our Jamie Lee Curtis. I do like the way it's done. Like the cops are there, the killers fooled the cops. They don't know she's unconscious, and he puts her in the incinerator. And then they're just like, is this supposed to smell that bad? There was something else I was going to say, but I forgot. Oh yeah, the reveal for the killer, even though I liked the direction they went, the reveal was really just kind of there. Like, okay, they killed the red herring, then all of a sudden he's like, no, it's me. I'm him. Like, it just seemed very sudden. It didn't really have much of the build-up. Like, if I had to compare it, like, the Betsy Palmer's speech about Jason in the original, talking about the young boy that drowned. It's a slow building story to the reveal. It didn't quite have that. The middle section was pretty slow. It does take its time, but when you do get kills, it is worth it. But other than that, it's not very Christmassy, even though it is. It's a very simple slasher film, so there's really not too much to say. But it is one with a popular name that, I'm glad I saw it. I'm sorry this wasn't as informative as my usual reviews. But before I cut this video, I do want to say that I'm kind of stuck because, as you all know, with this whole YouTube and FTC thing going on about, even if you check your videos, kids or not, they're still going to go through and they're going to fuck with it. And you got to be careful with kid, appealing stuff. Two of my favorite Christmas movies, which are also two of my favorite movies of all time, somewhere in my top favorites: Nightmare Before Christmas and Gremlins. I've waited all year to do those for the month of December. Two of my favorite movies, two of my favorite Christmas movies. They're both technically, I guess, kids' movies. I'll leave it up to you guys. Do you guys want to see my reviews of those? Do you think I should go ahead and do them? Just mark them not for kids? Feel free to give me your feedback as far as that goes. Or even put made for kids, but even though I'm set at the channel level, just, make it appropriate for kids. I don't swear or anything. Feel free to let me know in the comments, because I really did want to do those for the month of December. But anyway, that is 1982's The Dorm That Dripped Blood. Thank you for watching.